Hello, my name is Damien McCullough. You're very welcome here to Destination Newry's News Byte, the coronavirus update. 489 people have died in the north of Ireland, while 1,561 people have died in the Republic of Ireland. Total deaths in Ireland to date 2,050. The coronavirus diagnosed cases in the Republic of Ireland is 24,200. Cases of the coronavirus diagnosed in Northern Ireland is 4,401. At present, there are 661 COVID-19 related inpatients in 19 hospitals across Northern Ireland. 227 people have died across the UK in the last 24 hours. The total number of deaths in the UK is 34,796. Scotland death toll of 2,139 people have died of COVID-19. Wales. There have been a total of 1,852 deaths in Wales involving coronavirus, according to the latest Office for National Statistics. The UK has now far surpassed coronavirus struck Italy and Spain to have the highest death toll in Europe and the world's second highest after the United States, whose population is nearly 5 times higher. There are 259 confirmed cases in Newry, Mourne and Down out of a population of 180. There are 479 confirmed cases in Armagh City, Banbridge and Craigavon out of a population of 214,000 people. Education Minister Peter Weir has rejected a call from the head of the Catholic Church in Ireland for Catholic grammar schools to suspend academy selection for 2020. Finance Minister Conor Murphy has today announced a new financial support package. 30 million for public transport, 12 million for substitute teachers, 1.6 million to support nurses, 13.8 million for vulnerable citizens, 15 million for charities, and 2.8 million for student hardship. Other news. Unemployment in Northern Ireland rose by almost 90% in April, the official figures suggest. The figures for the Northern Ireland Statistics and Research Agency are the first official indicator of the impact of coronavirus in the Northern Ireland economy. They show that the claimant count for unemployment increased from 29,700 to 56,200. That is the highest monthly increase since records began and brings the claimant count back to the 2014 levels. The Northern Ireland economy to shrink by 7.5% this year. Well, as you know, we are involved in speaking to local community associations, and it gives me great pleasure this evening to welcome three back to Destination Newry's News Byte. So I'm going to go to Crossmaglen and I'm going to speak to Aoife Finnegan. Aoife is representing the Crossmaglen area. So Aoife, you're very welcome. And if you move a little bit over, that's it. It's great to see you. Aoife, you can tell us what's happening in around the Crossmaglen area, and you're very
Thank you. Okay, so firstly, I'd like to commend all of the communities that have come together and sure everybody that is in need is getting seen to and looked after. Crossmaglen Community Association, along with Colville Community Association, have really led the way with the food parcels. Deirdre Harvey, the Minister for Communities, has referred money to, she's released money, to the council and it's cited through. So we then go and we ring everybody that we know of in the community that might be of need, and we refer them on to ensure then we distribute out their food parcel. Not only have we had it through the council, CRJ have actually got funding from CFNI, and we were able to distribute that out again around the South of my area. So Crossmaglen went to KFC shop in Crossmaglen here, and they were so good, especially Ian, the manager. He was so helpful. He was able to go and deliver everything on time to us for us to be able to give it to everybody else. And moving on to Crossmaglen Rangers, and in particular Roisin Murtha and her son Rory, put everybody to shame. They're absolutely brilliant. She has loads going on. So every Sunday she does reminiscing with Rangers. She gets old photos of players and anybody associated with the Rangers, and gets all her family involved and puts up photos of them and gets stories of them. I think the last couple of weeks there was only Harvey and Jean Larkin, and I know I have heard from my own family that they have really enjoyed reading them, reading stories about them and where they are now, and maybe if they passed on and so on and so forth. She does a baby picture, so she gets a player from the Rangers team and puts up a baby picture, or anybody associated with the Rangers, and people have to up online and people have to guess who the person is. They done a fundraiser for the Southern Area Hospice with the cooking demo with Michelle McConville, kids colouring competitions, Rangers Got Talent. There's also story time. I think it's every Friday night, and I think they've only got Michael Mulliherty to ring, and then they have it in Irish as well. I think Farrell Murray and Deirdre McMahon was reading that. So it's keeping the children, especially those that are in the Gael School here in Crossmaglen, keeps them in touch with their Irish language, and anybody who speaks Irish in the community. People First have shown their initiative. They are offering essential skills for those who are wanting to better themselves. The essential skills is equivalent to grade C, GCSE, and none of us have time to do anything. So people who are out of work now and maybe worried about not getting work again, or maybe they're furloughed and they want to better themselves, then they can go and they can follow the criteria. Obviously, they can be employed and want to better themselves, or they can be unemployed and want to get into work. And these essential skills are so important. So I think it was a great initiative on their behalf. I also think it's important to mention our local nursing home in Crossmaglen, Glencairn Nursing Home. Their response to COVID-19 was fast and so far very, very effective, thankfully. They would like to thank the generous donations that went towards the PPE that's shortage everywhere. In particular, the 3-ply surgical masks. I know us in the Crossmaglen Community Association, we donated money to them. Cullaville Camogie team had done a relay race to raise money for PPE for them as well. Vincent McCall, the Applecrag and Lourdes committee, the Rainbow Club, and there's a truck run being organised by KNC Transport Ireland, and it's going to go towards PPE for the Glencairn Nursing Home and other businesses out there. I have to give a huge shout out to all the schools, Clonellig, St Joseph's, Glasdrum, and St Patrick's Primary School, and Gael School Project Mesa. I don't know about anybody else, but I've been trying to do homework with my children, and it is very difficult. And I praise all the teachers out there for doing an absolutely brilliant job. They're uploading all the work every day, having these stories, and it's really important for the children to have that relationship with their teachers that they're now missing out on a huge part of their school, and it's lovely for them to be able to see the teacher online, whether it be through online meetings with their classroom friends, or even seeing them through WhatsApp or whatever with the story. So they're really, really good, and I want to thank the teachers so much. I think they're underappreciated, to be honest. A huge thank you to everybody in our community, and what a great community we have. I think we'd all agree. They've responded with a phenomenal amount of care, compassion for those around them, their neighbours, their friends, and everybody who's in need. I know our own volunteers have been so good from Cullaville and Crossmaglen Community Association. We couldn't have asked them to do more. They were working from early morning to late in the evening. But it's others who have come to us to ask, can they help us out? I just can't believe the amount of help that there is people are offering. But not only that, the first responders also have who do another amazing job keeping everybody safe and alive. They have come to help us out to distribute the food parcels as well. So look, I want to thank everybody. That's all for today for the Crossmaglen News. I'm sure there's tons of people I've missed, but thanks to everybody, and keep up the brilliant work in Crossmaglen. Thank you so much.
Listen, Aoife, thanks a million. There's no question about it. I don't think you've missed everybody. You've spoken about everybody, and it's a great initiative by the Rangers. I do follow some of the quizzes and some of the pictures, and you've been trying to figure out who they are and all that. So you're doing great work up there, and it's great to have you on board here. So looking forward to doing the same next Tuesday night. So listen, Aoife, thanks a million, and say hi to all the folk of Crossmaglen. Delighted that you're involved here in Destination Newry. So
Thank
we're going to
you.
go from Crossmaglen now, and Aoife, we know that you're doing great work up there. So now we're going to slide over to not too far from Crossmaglen. We're going to go to Whitecross, and we're going to go to Lee. Hopefully Lee is there. Lee, good afternoon, good evening, and how are you?
Good evening, Damien. How are you?
Not so bad. Lee, you have a lot of news to tell us of what's going on over around Whitecross, so it's all up to you.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Damien. Well, just what we're doing at Whitecross at the minute, from the start, I suppose, of the lockdown of COVID-19. They started off with a wee NHS window displays, just in the windows on the doors. But then, as the weeks progressed, there started to be more stuff coming in and out on the gardens. I think the parents actually were having a bit more fun than the children were, so we decided that we'd run a competition every Thursday evening after the clap. So what we done was we would drive around, or we would get people to send pictures of their front of their houses, the backs of the houses and stuff, and we would just took it from there really, and it has really grown. It's actually grown out of the village and into the parish. We have people every Thursday would sort of send us in wee WhatsApp messages and stuff with pictures of what the kids and that's been doing, and it has been a great success for us. We also have the food bank. We started running it now. We had to go door to door to people, just asking how they're keeping, how they're doing, what way they're coping during the COVID and that. So when we started up the food bank, then again the generosity of the people was just phenomenal. You know, we couldn't ask for any more. There's people from the village again has pulled together, and the parish, everybody started coming together, and we just had to say, look, we have to cater for the parish, just not the village. So we ended up having about 60 to 70 boxes, just through volunteers. The volunteers are just people in the community. Like we started off a small community association, and today we have plenty of help, which were great, is greatly appreciated. But we also had community boxes from the council as well, so we have started to deliver them, getting them ready, getting them out to the people that needs it. And then after that there, we sort of had an online meeting. It was the first time I've ever done anything like that, and we decided that we would get a bit of sponsorship from ourselves, the local football club, the youth club, and one of the local companies out here is D&C Furnishing and Cusa Shop in Whitecross. So we gathered up over £1,500, and we split the £1,500 up into just for the PPE gear for the Daisy Hill and Craigavon, for the nurses that's out in the community. We also got food for Daisy Hill Hospital as well, which we got it delivered. And we ended up having enough money. Then we got the home helps that comes out around the parish as well. Lucky enough now, we did get scrubs, and we got the face masks through Ashleen and Katrina. Now just doing a very, very good work up there in Blake. Thank God now when we needed something, all you done is drop them wee message, and the girls were fantastic. You know, they would just come straight away. Yep, no bother. What do you need? We'll sort it out for you. And then they put us in touch with Jared. Jared's doing unbelievable work up in the school there with the advisors and stuff. Anything again, listen, Jared, all you do is pick up the phone. He said, give me a day or two, I'll sort this out. So between that, you know, we're getting on great. Like last week there, we had, I think it was a Thursday night or a Friday night, we were going around the parks, just looking around, calling the people, you know, obviously doing the social distance thing, and we were asking how things were, and we had the famous Nuns on the Run, actually out in Ardmore Park, which is a great night. It's very funny. They're all, as everybody knows, the 2 meters apart, but it was unbelievable. The crack. We were just all standing around having a laugh. You had 4 or 5 nuns dressed up in Ardmore Park doing a wee bit of a dance. Everybody was sort of standing in the garden side clapping, having good fun. The crack was brilliant. We also, at the minute, as the council are flat to the mat, as they would say, we have 2 local guys, or 3 local guys, sorry, at the minute going around cutting the greens for us, keeping Whitecross tidy, you know. they're doing tremendous work, like all voluntary. Paul there has given us a land of his tractor mower, and Shamey and between Shamey and Danny there are trying to keep the place as tidy as they can. I suppose passing the time too, the lockdown and nobody working at the minute. We're also at the minute in talks just to see, and we were lucky enough we got a bit of funding coming in, try to help out the community a wee bit more, for the likes of the heating and electric and stuff. There's a lot of hard work put into it now, and thanks to Donna Reevy and we have Tanya Murphy as well there. The two of them are sort of working behind the scenes and filling out all the funding forms and all. Thank God that we have somebody there to do that, because there's a lot of work involved in that. And there's another thing I want to just say is thank you there to the local councillors. The local council have been a big help to us, to put just to steer us in the right direction. We're sort of only new to this, so we have called upon the councillors and stuff. Thank God now Declan has stepped in there and has given us a bit of a hand, and we're very lucky there. And Barra as well, with the food parcels, just steering us in the right direction really. That's pretty much all sort of that's happening around the village at the minute, guys. But anybody else needs any help or anything at all, please do get in touch with Whitecross Community Association on our Facebook page, or you'll see my personal phone number there as well. Don't be afraid to get in contact, and somebody surely would definitely try to get back to you as soon as we can,
Well, listen, Lee, that's a good roundup of what's happening out around Whitecross. Delighted to hear that the guys are cutting the grass and doing it voluntary. Brilliant. I did see little pictures and videos of the nuns on the run, which was absolutely
very
great.
good, very
Again,
good,
it
brilliant.
gives a bit of a smile to people. So, listen, great to have you on board in Destination Newry's community news, and look forward to having another chat with you next week. And don't forget, anybody that wants any mentions to send it in to you, and we'll do this all again next week. So, Lee, thanks a million. It's great talking to you. And you did mention Declan there. So, what we're going to do now, we're going to slide over from Whitecross back down into Camlough, and we're going to talk to my own neighbour, believe it or not. I could nearly wave out the window here at him, and we're going to be talking to Declan Murphy. So, it's great to have another local man, and he is a councillor, just a new councillor. So, Declan, you're very welcome to Destination Newry's News Byte and the Camlough and Bessbrook News. So, Declan, tell us what's happening in the area.
Thank you, Damien. Well, I am still acting chair for Camlough Community Association, and because of the COVID, we are covering from Camlough to Bessbrook to Terramore. So, what I have to do is thank yourselves for giving us this opportunity to say what's going on in the area. And it was very interesting last night listening to the various people from the Meadow, Ballyholland and Newton Hamilton, because there's an awful lot of things going on in common with those people. But before I go into any individual pieces of work that we are doing or individuals that's helping out, I really, really have to commend the people as a community, for their response. Like, this has been a very, very difficult time for everybody. People are being asked to give up their most fundamental freedoms and rights, and they've done it willfully. And that's what's kept us safe. The fact that people have done that. And anybody, if when we started, to respond to COVID, we were doing it at a time when we were given the worst case scenario. It was just after the World Health Organization announced that there was a pandemic, and we were being told at that time to expect anything between 3,000 and 15,000 deaths. And it was incredible whenever we put out the call to the individuals within, particularly the village of Camlough, Bessbrook and Terramore, the response that we got back from both individuals and from the clubs. And we built up a wee network of support, and I will go into some detail about some of those people. But one of the first things that we did was we tied in with the council. They were providing the food packs. That was money that came from Dirty Hargey's department to provide for the most vulnerable within our communities. The Shane O'Neill Football Club, it was already active on the ground, providing parcels out of their own resources. So we teamed up with the Shanes to deliver food packs from the council. And another group that provided plenty of help to us as well and Aoife, I think's already alluded to it, was CRJ, Community Restorative Justice. And again, they sought funding. They got it from the Community Foundation NI. They bought, I think it was around 360 food packs and then divvied them out throughout South Armagh. And, again, when you ask people for resources, the likes of Mike Mathers, BM Steel, he provided the lorry. We were able to go up and pick up the parcels, bring them back down to the village, call on the local volunteers to give us a hand. And, you're talking about people. The beauty of this is that, the values that we cherish most, you're seeing them come to the fore. The likes of, community, resourcefulness, kindness, altruism, it's all there, which is absolutely brilliant. And we need to ensure that we sustain all of this, even when we come out of this. But people stepped up to the mark and took the risk themselves, leaving the safety of their own homes and helped us deliver to the most needy within the area. Some of the groups that were helping us and continue to help us, I just have to give them a mention. Again, as I mentioned, the Shane O'Neills, the Community Association, you had the Camlough ABC, we spoke to them, they're on standby when needed. Camlough Rovers, Camlough Water Festival Group, I know they provided funding to, as Leo already mentions, Katrina from Balik. Katrina has really done wonderful work in providing scrubs for the staff in Daisy Hill Hospital. We also have Bernie McQuaid here in Camlough, who provided us with masks. We were able to deliver some of that PPE to the likes of the nursing homes, domiciliary nurses, the undertakers, just a variety of people that actually needed the stuff. And as you know, it's fairly scarce. And I also must thank John Fields from COVID-19 Armagh. They came into the area with a wealth of stuff, and which allowed us then to deliver it out to the various people. Pat McGinn was on our case, obviously, for Q and Wirra, because likewise, they have a lot of clients still. Addiction just doesn't go away because we have a pandemic, and those people still have to be looked after. But we also have to ensure that the staff, are working in a secure environment. So it was really important for us to provide whatever we could, and we did give them some PPE. And before I got up, I know Councillor Una McGuinness had been there before me with stuff. So, and Una has helped us quite a bit on the ground with the parcels. And the other thing, people, just individuals like, the likes of Jackie Mooney, all those different people that have said that they're on standby, and other individuals who are providing vulnerable people with the prescriptions on behalf of the likes of Seamus down in the chemist in Camlough. So also, while we were doing all of that, we also had the lads coming out from the council who were delivering the food. And again, these are frontline workers, and they're not sitting at home on a sofa working on a laptop. They are out, on the front line, taking the risk, delivering the parcels to us. And it's now, at least I hope everybody does see it, where you get value for your money, because we're taxpayers, ratepayers. These are the guys that we pay, and I can say without any shadow of a doubt or any fear of contradiction, these are the people that are keeping us alive. It's the nurses, it's all the people that provide the services, the frontline workers, and the lads like Tommy and Barry. Are just absolutely brilliant. And it's not good enough just us commending them and maybe clapping for them on a Thursday night. We have to ensure, we have to demand, right, that, they are looked after properly with regards to their wages and regards to working conditions. So it is a crisis, but sometimes out of a crisis you can produce change, and it will not happen unless we demand it. And everybody has to step up to the mark with that. Other people I'd like to give a shout out to, these are fundraising events that are going on in the area. Again, the Shane O'Neills, they've obviously put in their own applications to the likes of the CFNI, the Big Lottery, etc. But they're also doing a house-to-house fundraiser. That's the senior ladies and the senior lads running from one house to the other, obviously complying with the social distancing and raising funds. And that's still open, so people can contribute if they want. Davy Geary from Bessbrook, he's doing a marathon around Camlough Park to raise money for the Marie Curie nurses. I think this is his 30th marathon, absolutely brilliant. And no doubt he'll be getting plenty of support from top dog Colin Fearon from the village, Bootsy. So again, that is open for people to donate if they wish to. And Kerry and Finn down in Ardeveen, they had a great wee initiative called Caring Coins, and that's where individuals could come up and donate whatever coins they'd saved up, from pennies to 10p's, 20p's. It all adds up, and whenever they get that all gathered up, that's again going to the staff in Dizzy Hill Hospital, which is just absolutely fantastic. I'd like to also give a shout out to Blaine Hughes, an Armagh footballer from the village of Camlough. He's put together a programme for Car Cruppen and for Creve Rua. Again, this is essential stuff that young people are given something to do during this particular time. And fair play to Blaine for doing that, and for the two clubs for getting together and producing that programme and passing it on to the young people. The other thing is, and sometimes we forget about this, is the very young people. Because remember, their lives have been turned completely upside down. The things that we would have taken for granted as kids, even though we lived through a conflict, we still had a lot of freedoms, and that is being completely closed down for those young people. And they're also listening to adult talk about deaths, about people catching COVID, about the way the economy's going, about unemployment, and God knows what's going through their wee heads. But despite all of that, they still get up in the morning and they still get back at it. And they even can tolerate the likes of myself, my young fella, doing the homeschooling. And just have to say fair play to them as well. Absolutely brilliant. On the entertainment side of things, again, in Camlough, we have Bootsy doing a Saturday Night Fever down at Carrick Meadows. And fair play to Bootsy, he also organised a clean-up at the beginning of May up in Camlough Mountain. And I think he had a good team up there, Team Dog, up on the mountain, helping him do the clean-up. We also had Philip McGivern down at the Green Road, bingo on the Green Road. I didn't realise it was going on until I went for a walk myself, and I headed over by the Green Road and walked straight into the middle of a bingo session. And it brings me back to Johnny Crummy back in the day. But all the people were out sitting outside. Of course, the weather was great, and they were doing the bingo. So that was fantastic as well. Also, the Bessbrook Crimson Arrow pipe band, unbelievable work that they're doing at the minute. They have been from nursing home to nursing home to the hospice to back to Daisy Hill, and they even turned up in Camlough at Jamesy Kearney. Jamesy's a piper, a man well into his 90s, but still fairly active. And they turned up, I'd say, at James's house and gave him a few tunes as well. So that was absolutely fantastic. And of course, I have to give a niece of mine, Maeve Madden, a bit of a shout here. She does the daily fitness routines on Instagram, keeping everybody healthy and fit as well. Just before I go, I'd like to give although it's a belated birthday, a greeting to Yasmin Mackin. She's the club secretary for the Shanes. It was her birthday yesterday. She's 21, apparently, again. And I also would like to mention that it's Raymond McCrish's 39th anniversary this Thursday, and there will be some live events on Facebook at 7 o'clock on Thursday night as well. So that's all the news I have for the moment. I hope I haven't left anybody out. If anybody's got any news that they want to give me so I can give a shout at a later stage, just either private message me or just give me a shout through the phone, whatever way. But thanks again, Destination Newry, for this opportunity, and where am I, August?
Declan, listen, brilliant, and thanks a million for a great roundup there. There's no question about it. Like the local people have just become giants through this whole thing, and I have to commend everybody. But I also say that we think about our young people, and our young people can surprise us because our young people they're very strong, and they're brilliant, and I have no doubt our young people will come better from this. So I would like to thank Crossmaglen, and I would like to thank Whitecross, and I would like to thank Camlough Bessbrook Community Associations for giving us all that information. I think it's a great initiative that Destination Newry has started here. So long may it continue. And again, thanks to everybody for tuning in. And I suppose I would have have to say happy birthday to Yasmin, because she just lives over the wall behind me here. So she wasn't 21, but she had a great birthday. So happy birthday, Yasmin, from everybody in Destination Newry. And again, we did say we would get the call outs, but unfortunately, due to pressure this evening, it didn't happen. But keep them coming in on the day of the anniversary of the birthday, and we will try and get them out that evening. It is hard work here, but we're doing our best. And again, I have to thank the 3 associations for coming on tonight, and we'll do this again tomorrow night with some other different community associations around the Newry area.